Hey guys, today I am going to be reviewing all of the new products that I tried this month. Normally I try to do a ranking style, but when I looked at all the products today, I just was having too hard of a time, so I figured this will just be a speed reviews. I have just under 20 new products that I tried this month. A lot of these things were from the Sephora VIB sale. I did do a first impression try on of every new product that I picked up during that sale, so I will have that linked in case you want to see demos and get initial reactions. I'm just gonna go by product type. So first is something I got from Ulta 21 Days of Beauty. It is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Sheer Foundation, and this is in the color 1W1 Bone. I really do like the original foundation. It was one of the first that I ever fell in love with. I haven't used it in a little while because I've been panning other things, but I had heard such great things about this sheer formula, and as I have enjoyed skin tints more, I thought it was a great time to try it out. I will tell you the color is a little dark for me, which is unfortunate. They have a really wide shade range, but they could definitely add some more colors, but I am able to make it work. Basically, I can only use my Dermablend powder, which lightens a bit, and then usually when I'm concealing, I will make sure to take a little bit under my cheekbone just to make it like a little bit lighter down here to get it to match better, and I think it works out just fine. Hopefully I'll get a little bit of color this summer and it will work even better, but out of all the skin tints I've tried, the L'Oreal True Match Nude Serum, I really love that one, but comparing this to Rare Beauty and Caliray, I do like this one better. I think it gives a similar amount of coverage. This gives light coverage. It might be slightly buildable, but not necessarily. But when I put it on, I feel like my skin does look like a little bit more, not flawless, but just like the imperfections are blurred a little bit more. They're not as noticeable. I feel like my skin looks a little bit more perfected without looking like I have a cakey mask on. This does have a nice little glow to it, but of course I do set my skin with powder. But the reason that I like this more than other skin tints is really the way that it wears. Now, I've been painting my Rare Beauty one. I've been wearing it for really long days, and it does hold up pretty well, but I do notice it kind of wearing off on my nose and chin, which are the areas that I touch the most, and I just feel like this one is more long wearing, looks better at the end of the day. So out of the high-end skin tints I've tried so far, this is the one that I would repurchase. So I definitely would recommend this if you're looking for a skin tint, and it's not drying, but it doesn't make me oily either. Then I picked up 3 new bronzers from the VIB sale. The first one is the Tower 28 Sculptino, which is supposed to be a cream contour. We all know the colors are more warm neutral, so they're not contours, they're more of a bronzer. They just don't have shimmer in them like their original cream bronzers do. I have the lightest color Broad, and I was stuck between this one and Getty. Getty looked like it had a bit more of possibly an olive undertone. Not super strong. I don't think it would have looked very green on me, and this one is warmer. I am glad I ended up going with this shade because it is warm without being orangey. This is a pretty light color though, so I would say that if you're much deeper than me, I wouldn't get this one, or you might need to layer it up. The formula of this reminds me of the cream blushes. There's a little bit of stick to them, which I notice when I'm putting my brush in the pan and also when I'm putting it on my face, but I don't have too much issue. I usually will put some of this underneath of my foundation and then some more on top. I use the e.l.f. Small Stipple brush, and when I'm putting it on top of foundation, I'm just kind of patting it on, and I don't feel like it lifts my foundation any. You don't get much product in here. I saw Brittany Ray already hit pan on hers, so you get 4.5 grams, and the Make It by Mario Skin Enhancer that people have been hitting pan on quickly has 5 grams. So just so you know, and if you're wanting to pan a cream bronzer, this might be a little bit of an easier one, which I also think is good because Tower 28 has very fair prices, and their products do tend to expire quicker, so you actually have a chance of using this one up. It has a 12-month shelf life, but I do really enjoy this. I think I will reach for it quite a bit, and I'm happy with the color that I chose. Next, I picked up one of the newer shades of the Patrick Ta Cream Contour Powder Bronzer Duo. This is in Sheezed Bronze, so it is more warm tone. In my first impression video, I did do half face with this and half face with She's Sculpted, which has more of a cool tone contour. I'm actually wearing She's Sculpted today. I don't think I needed the both of these. This was a little bit extra of a purchase for me, but I do really like it and I think it's beautiful. It is warm tone without being too orangey, and I really like this formula. I feel like they have a perfect amount of pigmentation, at least for my preference, because they are buildable, which I like because I can go overboard with bronzer really easily, but this is so easy to build up. The formulas are just so easy to work with, look beautiful on the skin, so I definitely would recommend these, and I'm so glad they added some deeper shades as well and in some different undertones. The third bronzer I tried is the Kosas Sun Show, and this was a re-release. They originally had 3 shades, now I think they have 5, and I did go in store to swatch this, and I'm glad that I did because I was stuck between the lightest shade Waves and the second shade Beachy. Waves looks too light and yellow tone for me, so I don't think it would have showed up very well, but Beachy works really nice. When you swatch it, it does look shimmery and a little bit scary, but on the skin it has a nice subtle sheen, which I think will be so beautiful for summer. This is also pretty buildable formula. I do like this. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a must-have, but it's not something that I feel I should return. It does still have a little bit of that weird makeup smell, which I feel like we're not used to having in powder makeup, and it just makes you feel like it's a little bit of kids makeup. I don't know why Kosas can't get it together with their scent, because other clean beauty brands, that's not really an issue for them, but I'm glad that they added more shades here. I'm not sure if Beachy is a brand new shade or was part of their original ones, but it's a good color for me, and this is a nice formula. Next, I have a couple blush products. The first is a cream. This is the Melt Cosmetics Cream Blush Light in Honey Thief. I feel like Melt is leaving Sephora. All of their products have been on sale. Right now, only a few blushes are even left on the Sephora website, but I was able to pick this up during some like random holiday sale for half off. This has been on my wish list for forever. This is a very nice cream blush that I have not tried over powder. I only used it under powder, but I feel like a lot of times when I put a cream blush on, then set my skin with powder, that it doesn't really show through. And this one did, and I did not apply a whole ton of product. I just applied a regular amount. I like to use the Real Techniques buffing brush with my cream blushes. I feel like the size of that brush fits my cheek really nicely. But if you are interested, there are still some shades available. You can also check in your stores. But this is a really nice formula. I like this color, right up my alley, more of a peachy pink shade. I like this. It's a good cream formula that's not too sticky, but it isn't really like a cream to powder like the Bare Minerals Bounce and Blur blushes are, which are my favorite formula. So I'm happy I got to try one out, especially for that great price, but I don't feel a need to get more. Next, I got one of the new Haus Labs blushes in Pomelo Peach. It's a really beautiful matte peach with some pink in it. And I do really like this. It's beautiful. These are too expensive. They're like 38 bucks. If the price would have been 30, it would have been much easier for me to swallow. I got my discount on it, and I did purchase this in store with some store credits, so that made me feel a little bit better. This color is so beautiful. I love the formula. It goes onto the cheeks really nicely, blends nicely, looks very pretty on the skin. However, I still don't know that it's $38. Because, you know, I have the money, I'm going to keep it, but I wouldn't say this is something that you have to have. Nothing about this formula blows me away. I don't think it's that much better than other powder blush formulas, and I know that if I went through and swatched all of the peach blushes in my collection, I would find something similar. Maybe not exact, but similar. So it is good enough to keep, but I am not losing my mind over it. And the last face product is super sad. This is the Caliray highlight in Starlight Beach. They have this more pinky tone, and then they do have more of a golden champagne. And unfortunately, the only negative here is that the shade I feel is too dark for me. You can see right here in the shade that is much deeper than my skin tone. The reflect is pretty bright, and I'm wearing it today. I've worn it so many times this month trying to convince myself that it does work for me. And in a lot of lighting situations it does, but I do feel like it can just make the top of my cheeks look a little bit muddy. So I do feel like I need to return it for that reason. But I don't want to because the formula is so, so good. I'm also super appreciative that mine did not come broken. I know a lot of people's did, but when Sephora shipped my order, this specific product was in bubble wrap. So that was pretty thoughtful of them. So if you have more of a light medium to tan skin tone, definitely check these highlighters out. A really nice formula. They do have a nice metallic sheen, but I don't think that they emphasize texture too badly or look too thick or heavy on the skin. A really good formula, just not great shades for fair people. So sorry if the lighting just changed. I had to get up to get a product from my desk. But moving on to eyes, I have the Benefit Gimme Brow Volumizing Pencil in 2.5. Benefit did send this to me along with a bunch of other brow products to promote their brow search. And I'm so glad that they sent it to me instead of me purchasing this because I don't love it. So it is a wooden pencil, which I haven't used something like this in such a long time. I don't get where they're saying this volumizing thing is. It's just a wooden brow pencil. And I have been using this to fill in the center of my brow and then really defining it with precisely my brow pencil. But I would rather use the Goof Proof. I think it shows up a little bit better and you can see this, like it does have some effect. There is a spoolie on the other end. This is an okay product. I get that it's something different. It helps complete their brow collection, but I would say get one of the other Benefit brow pencils instead of this one. And I know it would take me ages to get through it. So I think I'll probably end up passing this on because it would just take so long to get through. And I have other brow pencils that I like more and I'm using it just for the sake of using it. Then I have a couple different eyeshadows. What I'm wearing today is the Lawless Cosmetics, the Lavender one palette. So you have 8 shades in here. 3 shimmers and the rest are mattes. And this is my first time trying Lawless eyeshadows. I would love to try some more because I know pastels are really hard to do. The shimmer shades in here I do think are very beautiful, especially this color. But I feel like the formula of the shimmers is a little bit more dry. I did have to layer it up today to, you know, have enough product to coat my lid. These definitely have a shimmery finish, but they're not really metallic. And then for the mattes, I feel like I really had to build them up. I'm wearing this color in my outer corner here, and it doesn't look brown. It looks rosy and it looks lighter, and that's layered up. The more pastel mattes, I feel like completely blended away, dusted away when I put them on. I could not really get them to build. I'm wearing the purple as my crease shade and I don't even think that you can tell. And I did try to layer it up. I didn't over blend. I just was not impressed with the quality of this palette, so I personally would not recommend it. Another palette that really surprised me, and I think it has to just be something wrong with me, the Oden's Eye and Makeup Just for Fun Flora Story palette. You have 10 beautiful shades in here, 5 mattes, 5 shimmers. I absolutely love all of the shimmers. They're so metallic looking on the eyes. They apply easily. They're so beautiful, but I had a hard time with the mattes. This more neutral matte worked okay, but I do still feel like I had to build that up. And for all of the other mattes, which are a little bit more colorful, I could not get them to stick to my eye or apply evenly. I feel like whenever I would start to slightly blend, they would just puff away or look very patchy. I have not heard anybody else say this yet, so it might just be something's wrong with my eyes that these eyeshadows aren't sticking to them. But yeah, I was not very impressed with the mattes here, which is a huge disappointment because I haven't had any other issues with other Oden's Eye palettes. I am still happy to have this one. I want to play around with the mattes and I can use them on the lower lash line and that works well. And I think that I'm fine with that. Using them on the lower lash line, using other shades for crease transition, and then using the shimmer. So still happy to have it, but I'm very disappointed that at least I'm not skilled enough to work with those mattes. Then I have two other random palettes that I use this month and really wanted to shout out. This first one I believe that I've reviewed before. This is the Lunar Beauty Nude Prism palette. I think I wasn't super blown away the first time, but I liked it so much more now. These metallics are super foiled and metallic looking. You can see there's like a little oil seepage here. It's not that bad. The mattes I think are nice. They're a very buildable formula. I think at first I was a little bummed because I didn't love all of the undertones with all of the shimmers here. Some of the colors are a little bit similar. I feel like this color here I had to build it up, but they did stick to my eye and they did blend nicely, and I really enjoyed when I used this palette for work. So definitely wanted to shout this out. And then I have this Dominique Cosmetics Transition palette. My friend Lauren had decluttered this to me and I haven't used it yet. I have worn these shades here and they're so beautiful. They do build and blend really nicely. I felt like they looked even on my eye. I didn't have any issue with them sticking or blending out. I was really impressed with this quality and I'm definitely going to look forward to using this more. Lastly, we have lip products, starting with the Lawless Forget the Filler Overnight Lip Plumping Mask. This is the original one called Sweet Dreams. It is clear and I don't really notice much of a scent. I really love the texture of this. It's slightly thinner, not in a slippery way, but it doesn't feel super heavy, but it's thick enough to still feel nice and hydrating on the lips. You can easily rub your lips together, very smooth. It does have a slight cooling, plumping aspect to it. It's really nice. I definitely have enjoyed this and I'm gonna look forward to using this more, but I would recommend picking this up if you're looking for a lip mask. Then I have the Forget the Filler Tinted Lip Balms from Lawless. I'm wearing this more mauve shade Posy today, and I think this is one of the more pigmented shades. I've also tried Georgie, which is the warm nude, and I have tried Baby Doll, which is the bright pink. I accidentally picked up the clear one instead. This formula is fine. It is different than a typical lip balm because it's not that hydrating, honest to goodness. It's a thin formula, so it does feel similar to other tinted balms, and it does have a little shine to it. I do think my lips look a little bit fuller. Again, the color that I'm wearing has a little bit more color to it, but that definitely varies. The three deeper shades, when I swatched them, I found looked pretty similar. I definitely don't think you need them all. And I think that I will hang on to a couple of shades and then pass them on to friends. I was lucky enough to get these in PR, but I don't think they're really worth the purchase. I know other people have really liked them, but I don't find them to be super hydrating, and I would rather use a balm or a lipstick. The hybrid thing isn't necessarily for me in general. These are fine, nothing amazing. And then also from Lawless, I have the two Forget the Filler glosses from the Lavender collection. So the lighter shade is my favorite. It's Lavender Sorbet, and this one is definitely a little bit more sheer. It has a little bit of shimmer in it. This is so beautiful and is not too milky on my lips. Then we have this really pretty shade Violet Bloom. No shimmer in this one, and it is quite pigmented, so I think what I did was apply it to one lip and then rub my lips together so it wasn't too much color for me. But I do think these are very pretty. Same formula as their original gloss, which I do like. I do think it gives a nice plumping effect without burning or being cooling. I don't know what ingredient they have in there that gives you that more full look, but it does. These are a little thicker and they can get a little sticky as they wear off, but it's not bad. Super happy to add these to my collection. I do think these are a good buy. And then I have the lip products I picked up from the VIB sale. The first being the Makeup by Mario MoistureGlow Plumping Lip Color. I have the shade Soft Blush, and I know a lot of people have not liked these. I have worn this a couple times and I haven't had much of an issue, but that is because because I have a lighter shade, and this is a really pretty mauve color. I love the way that it looks on the lips. This does have a little bit more of a serum consistency, which is super comfortable. I feel like this lasts roughly an hour on me with talking, which is not bad. And a lot of people had issues with this settling into their lip lines. I did not have that problem, but I noticed on my top lip there was a little feathering around my lip line. So with a lip liner, I might not have that issue. So if you're picking up a shade that's lighter or maybe more similar to your skin tone, I don't know if people had troubles with like the lightest nude color. I say give it a shot. I don't need to buy any more colors. There was a different pink shade that I thought was really beautiful as well, but I definitely chose a good color. I like the formula, but I understand the issues that other people are having with it, but I'm not with this shade. Then I have the Rare Beauty Tinted Lip Oil in Hope. This is very pretty. I'm really happy that I got this shade. I do have my eye on the Nude Honesty, and if I'm still interested by the time the fall sale comes around, maybe, but I was able to pick this up in person, and the formula of this is like a jelly stain. It's very similar to the new Jelly Charms from Kaja, but I do think that this is nice and creamy. The stain it leaves behind is pretty even, at least for the shade that I chose, and because I picked a lighter color, I do feel like it fades pretty gracefully, easy to reapply. I like the texture of it. It's not sticky. It feels smooth when it goes on. I am glad I couldn't if I wanted to because they were all sold out. Like I wouldn't be able to go crazy and buy all the shades. But for me, I would rather just use a gloss formula over a jelly stain, period. But I do think this is a nice product if you pick it up with the intention of getting a jelly stain, not a lip oil. And then I have two of the Tower 28 Juice Balms. I have Mix, which is the nude, Shake, which is the pink. These are a little bit more sheer compared to the other two shades in the range. I wish that these had a little bit more pigment, but on my very lightly pigmented lips, they do still show up pretty nicely. And this is a super thin formula, which I don't necessarily love. It's just a little too slippery for me. I think a little thickness would have been nice. I think that it originally was that way, and then they reformulated based on some feedback from when they released Mix like a year and a half ago or something nuts. I like these enough to keep them because they are pretty affordable, but I wouldn't say you have to run out and get these. I don't think that they're super special. They are a tinted balm, not drying, but not super hydrating. I think if they were, again, a little bit thicker, they might feel a bit more nourishing. So those are just okay for me. So those are my thoughts on all of the new products that I tried out this month. I would love to hear your thoughts if you've tried these products in the comments down below. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.